Despite the fact that many are in the holiday mindset and holiday mood, there's a lot going on in the markets. In today's show, I want to discuss a couple of things, 2 to 3 different things that are likely going to affect the markets as soon as this week. High impact data events, also as well as that, high impact things that are just happening in the market in general that we see only 4 times a year. So smash the like button. Let's get straight into the show content. Dailies are a little bit up. A couple of coins are up over here, but you are starting to get confirmation of the breakdown of the bear flag, and I'll show you why. We're working on the 3rd day now of opening and closing candles below those key levels, which is of course inherently a technically bearish sign. But that's not the main thing that we want to look at. What we want to have a look at is some of the economic data that came out yesterday. We had the non-farm unemployment change, which was coming out, and consequently what we've seen over here is the US employment rate, or unemployment rate I should say, has started to rise back to levels not seen since 2021. Now it's important to consider, because this is generally the picture that you're looking at when combining the Fed funds rate and the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate in the red line begins to rise steadily and then more aggressively. So we've started the steady rise of, higher highs and high lows. When that becomes more and more aggressive, while the Fed are cutting interest rates aggressively towards the downside, well, almost always that leads to a major recession within the market, and consequently we see lower prices in assets, and that provides a great buying opportunity. So we're starting to see all of this come into fruition. Now, this is going to take still a number of months to play out, but the etchings are there, we should say, right? The etchings are there. So that's one of the things going on in the markets over there. And the next thing, a big impact event coming up, is the Bank of Japan's interest rate decision, which is going to be on December the 19th. It's not the only important thing that's happening this week, which has a high likelihood to affect the markets and bring some massive volatility. While the technicals are weak, right? You have these fundamentals going on as well. And the next thing to look at is the triple witching event, which only comes 4 times a year, around the 19th of December, or on the 19th of December, the same day as that Bank of Japan interest rate decision. So something significant to consider over there. And the last couple of times that we've had this, the last 3 times, have led to dumps. You had a 16% dump, then you had a 7.74% dump, then you had a 7.5% dump, and now you have this technically bearish picture coming off of a bear flag. Will we lead down back towards those lows for yet another dump after the triple witching? What is the triple witching? Remember, it's a massive options expiration across various different markets over there, and that's happening on the 19th. And we're going into that slow season as well, where a lot of people are going to be on vacation. So all of these things paired up and lined up together, should keep you focused. Don't lose sight of the bigger picture. This is where a lot of opportunity could arise if we do start to get that move towards the downside, and that drops Bitcoin into the 70K region. There is going to be opportunity over there. Now, no crystal balls over here. We're just looking at the probabilities. You're always welcome to cast your own vote over there. So go through and smash the like button. While you're through there in the comment section, go and vote on the poll. What comes first? 62% of you believe 70K will come first. 25% of you believe 105K. And then, of course, we added in 2 extra poll sections over here for some of you that are extremely bearish. You don't even think we'll see 105. We're not even going to make it there. Well, 6% of you voted that. And then we got the super bulls in the house. 7% of you believe we won't even make it to 70K. We're not going back there ever again. We're going up only. So if that is you, vote on that section over there, and we'll tally these up towards the end. Now, one of the things we've been looking at is the DXY, right? The dollar index, which has been coming down. It's now tagged those key levels, come into the almost just narrowly. Look at that wick over there. Narrowly missed that golden pocket over here. But we expected over time that bulls would step in at this region to try and defend between that 97 and 98. So you are getting that. It's not enough yet. I do expect we need a couple more days or weeks at least to see is there reaccumulation at this key level. If there is, and this starts to rise towards the upside, it can add pressure onto the rest of the risk on markets, right? Things like, the S&P 500, the tech sector. And that's what we looked at yesterday. Do you remember when we looked at it yesterday, what we found was that of the Magnificent 7 stocks, only 2 of them were in positions of strength, and 5 of them were starting to look relatively weak and suggesting there's possibility for further downside. So when you combine all these factors together with all these things like the unemployment rate starting to rise, the Fed cutting interest rates quite aggressively, the Bank of Japan interest rate decision, which has previously led to drops in the market, as well as the triple witching, which also led to further drops in the market, DXY bouncing from key support, well, that tells you a bit of a story, right? That there is a possibility that the other two magnificent sevens may start to show weakness. And if those show weakness over there, you could begin to get a rollover effect over here from the S&P 500. For now, let the charts do the talking. And as long as you remain above the yellow box over here, there is still hope that the S&P 500 futures will continue towards the upside. We can have a look at the Dow Jones. It is also still above the big SR flip region. So therefore, that's technically good. The QQQ, which is the NASDAQ, is the one that is starting to show a little bit of weakness over here. You want to defend this level. You want to flip this back into support. This is the SR flip. So a little bit of weakness over there. Could it spike back up over here and everything's okay? Absolutely, that's possible. But if it is going to break down, as well as the rest of them are going to lose those key yellow box areas, the rest of the stock markets, I would expect that probably would happen due to something to do with one of these major economic events, triple witching, or the Bank of Japan interest rate decision, right? So those are things we're looking at. And then we got the US small caps as well, still fighting over here to put in a bit of support. So let's have a look at the two strong ones. Tesla is ripping. Everything looks good over there. The target is still in play for $720 Tesla price. Remember, you're coming out of a multi-year reaccumulation, a big range-bound area. The longer the range, the bigger the breakout when it occurs. And this is starting to look like a real breakout. So Tesla can continue to fly. Google over here still holding up with high highs and high lows. Quick look at Apple. We are short on Apple, but we got pretty much no risk on the table. It's very, very, very low risk. So we'll give this one a chance and see what happens over here. Yeah, you don't have per se a confirmed breakdown of trend with daily lower lows and lower highs, but you're showing weakness in terms of the trend line, and you came into the technical area of resistance, the multi-year parallel channel coming into that top side over there. So remember, rising wedges are traditionally bearish chart patterns over there. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. That's why we put it into the technically weak category. We have NVIDIA, which is holding below its yellow box over here. So we've also allocated that as technically weak. We have lower lows and lower highs on Meta. So that one's weak. We have Microsoft as well coming down over there. And then we have Amazon as well below these key levels, putting in lower lows and lower highs with a back test into the range high as resistance, meaning you're back in the range. So those are the things we're looking at over there. Let's quickly check out Coinbase, also still coming down. I think it can easily hit 219 into the bottom of that parallel channel. Circle, still overall very weak, even though you have 9% up to almost 10% for the day. It's overall still downtrending. Robinhood coming into a key zone. You want this level to hold at 115, because if you do start to break down, remember we covered this yesterday, just go back on that video, low lows and lower highs would be the situation over there. And then we have MicroStrategy, very, very, very weak over here. There is a possibility that you won't get any of that relief, and this is just going to come straight down to about 137. And then we'll quickly look at the metals, which have been really strong. We still have our gold long trade over there, and the bulls are applying pressure into that 4,380. The longer they consolidate into that level, the bigger and more explosive the move will be when you begin to trade above 4,400. We have silver, which is leading the way as the major metals leader, right? Very, very, very strong. Not even giving you the perfect throwback into 55 over there, just ripping straight through. And now you're heading for that 2.618 fib extension. $69 would be the target. Maybe when it gets there and pauses, you'll start to see a rotation out of silver back into gold, and that will lead to gold's breakout higher. So those are the main things we're looking at. We'll move on to crypto now. First, what I wanted to mention is I have the opportunity to do a $2,000 giveaway for you guys. I'll give everyone a chance to get involved. We'll do the giveaway tomorrow. Let's do the giveaway tomorrow. So the giveaway will be on BitUnix, right? Or for BitUnix at least. So $2,000 giveaway that I'll be giving. If you go through to the link in the description below over here, BitUnix, you sign up over there. This is how you can be eligible for the giveaway. And I'll choose, you have a very high probability of winning, by the way, because I have a list that I'm working from over here. These are the people that signed up to BitUnix and made deposits on the 15th, And these are the people on the 16th. And today's the 17th. So we're going to choose from this list, of which you can see there's 53 people. So what is the criteria? Go through and make a deposit. There is a minimum deposit requirement. You need to deposit at least $300, right? $300 on BitUnix over here. And then we're going to select from this and do a giveaway of $2,000. And we'll do that tomorrow, right? So remember, when you do sign up to BitUnix, you're anyway getting a sign-up bonus based on what you deposit, right? So you immediately get a bonus. And then you can unlock all these different tiers as well. You get VIP pricing using that banter link. And you can win an iPhone 17 Pro Max, as well as winning $50,000 with their prize pool that they have currently running. And then tomorrow I'm going to do the giveaway. So sign up. For those of you that sign up today, those of you that did it yesterday and the day before, we're going to pull from this list over here. I'll just randomly select. We'll use the cells and we'll go tomorrow and we'll say between cell number 1 and whatever we get to. And we'll just spin it. If you want me to split it up between more people, maybe like 500, 500, 500, so 4 people can win, we can do that as well. Let me know in the comments. What do you guys want? I'll keep an eye out on the comments. Do you want it to be split 4 ways, 3 ways, 2 ways, or do you just want one big winner for $2,000? Cool. Alrighty, let's move on back into crypto. Very balanced, right? When it comes to the long to short ratio over here, sideways price action. This is more bearish than anything because you're consolidating both between the longs and the shorts in the low volatility environment with price hanging around the swing lows. It means it's highly likely that you're going to probably continue down. Capitulation signal over here in the fear and greed. But when you're looking at the funding rates, we have touched down multiple times into what quote unquote would be called panic phase. We haven't quite hit capitulation phase in terms of the funding rate. So when we see the massive skew spread aggressively onto the short side, like negative 5, 6, 7, 8, with extreme fear or capitulation like signals in the sentiment and a big spike up over here, that could be, when met with a strong technical support like 70K, I think would do the job. If we came down to 70K, you're probably going to get that strong buy signal, which is where everybody else takes the wrong side of the trade too late. So right now, 24-hour liquidations, only 202 million, which is nothing, and it's literally equally split. Look at that, 100 and call it 101 and 101. Very, very, very equal. Volume continues to diminish over here, and there's just nothing going on, right? Super, super boring, and I commend you. You guys are amazing, very dedicated. At this time of the year, when I know that most of the world, the US, yes, you guys love work. You work very hard, but most of the world are on vacation right now, right? So they're already on holiday, clocked out. So big congrats to you. This is why you're going to make all the money, because it is the Pareto principle, right? You got to be present for that, 20% of the time that the other people are not going to be present, and you'll make 80% of the capital. Alrighty, ETF flows, of course, going to be super boring. Outflows over there on ETH as well as Bitcoin, both of them outflows on the daily. The weeklies are still just chopping about, and ultimately bulls need to regather and try and find the momentum to build things back up. But I think you'd want to wait at least for these major events to get out the way. The Bank of Japan interest rate probably rise. They're going to raise interest rates. That's what's being priced in. And then while the US are cutting aggressively, jobs are going towards the upside, but at least wait for the Bank of Japan, the initial shock that probably comes from that. Maybe it's already being priced in right now. And then the triple witching event as well. Let's get those things out of the way, and then we can reevaluate next week, right? So let's continue back into the price charts over here. We've covered that. Let's look at the liquidity, because when the order book is so thin, this is where the heat maps actually hold some sort of weighting, but it's not going to amount to much, because when you look at this price range, it's very small, right? You're looking at, for example, Bitcoin between 86K in a tight trading range and up to like not even 88K. It's like a $2,000 range. Liquidity is a little bit stronger on the upside than the downside, but it's almost the same, right? Look at that. You're looking at like 15.2 million versus 14.16 million. So nothing is going on. Super boring over there. Price-wise, you're applying a lot of pressure. This is also going to start to look like a bearish order block on the total cryptocurrency market cap, very similar to what's happening on Bitcoin. And if you look at the picture between total 1, 2, 3, and others, well, you know, total 2 is still holding up above those 2021 highs, but this is the equivalent of Bitcoin dropping down to 70K. It would mean total is going to probably drop down to about 2.44 trillion, whereas total 2, this is the differing picture, is way below the 2021 highs. So really bearish over there on the altcoins. Same thing over here. Total 3 way below the all-time highs over there from 2021. And then look at others, which is your true degen section, already breaking down over there and probably going to move all the way down to about 148 billion. So a lot of pain over there for the altcoin sector. Bitcoin, I think, is still calling at least to come down to the 69 to 72 range, where you may find some support to put in a bounce to form your right shoulder over there. So this is heavy, right? It's very heavy over here. Is it possible that it could spike up first, go straight to 105K? Of course, guys, anything is possible, but you're fighting gravity over here. This is really heavy. The bears are clearly in control, and any spike up over here that occurs without first coming down, you know, would be, call it one big player that comes into a liquid market and decides to do that. Is that tradable? I don't know, not really, in my opinion. Like, we can talk about it on the lower time frames, but I think any longs over here for the move to about 103, 105K become a bit of a gamble. I think that the high probability trade is you just wait for it to either go to that 103, 105K level and then you short it. So the short is a high probability if you get there, or you just long it from the 70K region is worth playing that technical bounce. So from a technical perspective, it's all telling us that, you know, that's more likely to continue down, and USDT dominance, in my opinion, wants to move all the way up into the 7.8 to 8% region. And there's pressure, massive pressure building over here. Bulls are in control in the USDT dominance, and I think this thing wants to go. We've got the bull flag over here consolidating into that resistance level and likely to push up, while Bitcoin is in the bear flag with a pending bear moon, which is also lining up coincidentally. So 15 days, it's every 15 days, coincidentally lining up on these dates, right? Triple witching, Bank of Japan interest rate decision, bear moon is going to be printing, 3 candle confirmations closing below the bottom of that trend line, which is constituted as a confirmation that the bear flag is breaking down. So, well, right now we have 1 candle, 2 candles, and this daily candle today, if closed below, would be the confirmation that you've confirmed it, right? You're breaking the bear flag down. You should be looking for follow through. Alrighty, that is the truth of the matter. I know it's not what the bulls want to hear, but yeah, hopefully you have cash ready and available, because there will be opportunities to buy the dip. Stuck below all of these points of control in terms of the volume profile of the overall trading range. Volume continues to diminish throughout this little bit of a pump. It's very, very, very weak. You do have your value area low, which is coming into play at about 83,741, which, yes, is technical support, but always use context, right? You need to look at the bigger picture and all the other things happening, and you need to consider that context. So, for example, part of the context would be that USDT dominance over here is grinding in and applying pressure and wants to break out. So that's the context that I use, right? It's one of the things. Multiple things. We look at a lot of different stuff. So you got to be a discretionary trader and consider all things. If this weren't present, as well as all the other factors that are pointing to lower, well, then I would say that, yeah, you know what, you're coming into the orange line over here, could print something like this, where it's just range bound, and you're just gonna do that, right? Cool. Then you can start to look for the long trade over there. But with the context in play, we need to determine, hey, is this a range still? Or are we starting to trend? And at the moment, I must say I'm leaning more towards this is going to be, remember, markets range for about 60, or let's go a bit more, 70 to 80% of the time you're range bound, and only about 20 to 30% of the time you're trending. So you got to determine, hey, when are you entering into that 30% of the time? I'm starting to lean towards this is part of that 20 to 30% of the time where you're going to put in the trend towards the downside based on all the other discretionary factors that we're looking at. So we're waiting for that over there. We covered this yesterday on the Whale Room live session with the Zoom. Remember, you guys can always see when we live for the Zooms by just coming through to the calendar on the Whale Trade side of here. You can scroll through. So if you want to know what we're doing and when we live during the vacation period just come on the Whale Trade side over here, and you'll see the Zooms are there. So this is range bound on the low time frame, the hourly. It's all chopping about. not much else to comment on over here. We can move into, this is still, look, downtrend, right? Still a downtrend. So at least you need to break this. The big area to recover, I'm just going to price label it, is going to be over here. 89,873. You basically want to get above that breakdown level to shift anything on the low time frames. So that's your analysis for Bitcoin. We can go into altcoins. We can have a look at what's happening within that market. We have been looking at 𝗕BTC for quite some time. It's taking a lot of time. I think that you're probably going to take out this low over here. It was looking really weak yesterday. Your best case scenario for the bulls is to chop about a little bit longer over here. I don't think that this is ready to trend yet like this. Okay, I don't think this is ready to trend yet like this. I think that your best case scenario, if you're bullish on 𝗕BTC, is probably going to be something like that. A little bit more chop and reaccumulation within this area. Okay, we'll talk about PIPPIN. We'll talk about Zcash. We'll get into those things over there. There is still a lot that's happening within the crypto markets, right? In terms of development. Price-wise, questionable, right? Certain things, the liquidity has gone. Without liquidity, it's hard for price to rally. But if you have a look at this tweet over here, MasterCard just announced a stablecoin settlement with the ADI Foundation. ADI is an Ethereum L2 built on ZK Sync. So I don't know if you guys remember that we spoke about this whole ADI chain previously, which had to do with the UAE, which is where I'm based, right? So the Sheikh basically pushing a massive stablecoin project with ADI. And ultimately, if you look over here, they will get integrated the ADI chain and stablecoin into their operations, reaching millions of users outside of TradFi systems. So there are things that are still being built within crypto. It's just you have to try and time it where the fundamentals line up with the price technicals, finding key supports. So things are still going on. Things are still going on in the markets. So we can go into a couple of these altcoins over here. Let's have a look at what's going on. Very quick run through, right? We're not going to waste a lot of time over here because you guys know it. It's all pretty much the same level. So let's first start off with XMR, applying that pressure. We're in profits over here. It's looking good. You're applying pressure 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth time, highly likely to break out. This trade could be ready to go. So Monero, we up 1,823%. Beautiful. Nobody else wanted to be long, but we took the long, and this is nothing. It hasn't even got going yet. Wait until this thing starts to trade above 450. We're going to be cooking all the way up to 730. We're going to make serious cash. Imagine we're up over 1,000% already, and all we've done is move from here to here, which is like 15%. It's going to be a beautiful trade. Zcash, we haven't got confirmation yet. It could still spike up if you see strength today. But if we start to see any candles closing or trading below 373 on Zcash, inevitably you're going to be coming back for 300. You might pause there, and then you're going to break through, and you're going to follow out this trajectory over here. So hopefully the money from Zcash moves into Monero because we short Zcash and we long Monero. So all in all, things are cooking. We're looking good over here. World Liberty Finance short trade, applying pressure into this. This thing could get ready to break down. Already at this point, you could take 33% profit, 25% profit, pay yourself a bit because since the origin of that trade, 20% down. That's a great trade, right? 20% price move with a little bit of leverage because there's no way to short without leverage. That's a decent trade over there. And if we break this 1, 2, 3, grinding into this level, you're probably going to come down for that 10th of October lows. Many coins have already broken below that. So that's what we're looking at over there. XRP, very weak, still applying pressure into this. As soon as you start to close multiple candles below this 190, your next support is 136. And then after that, you're talking about those full retraces. Solana, no man's land, nothing has changed over there. Sui continues to remain very weak, similar to Bitcoin consolidating at the lows. Sonic making new lows, very bearish. Say also very bearish. Cardano, terrible. Next support is 33 cents. AVAX, consolidating under these lows. It sucks. It's bad. There's nothing going on over there. Ton, terrible. Casper, terrible. TRX, let's just skip it. Absolute rug city, just down only. Down only on Plasma. Pump, there we go. It gave it up, right? This is what I worry about for Ethereum. I keep telling you guys this. We'll go back to the ETH chart now. Let's quickly check on that ETH position. What's going on? We are 5% up. So that's what I need to consider. Do we just cut this ETH trade? We have other trades, but I'm worried that ETH is going to do what Pump's done. Showed a little bit of optimism coming into key horizontal support with a falling wedge. But yeah, we said it. We said as long as you hang around, you're going to break down. It's done it. There it is. Breakdown intact, right? So I worry, purple line, very similar. We'll go back to Pump. Just remember that image, right? Very similar. Purple line, falling wedge into key support. Let's go back to ETH. Purple line, falling wedge into key support. This thing can easily break through. And we can use things like this as our guide, the ETH BTC chart. This needs to run quickly in order for that to not happen. You guys say Tom Lee will not be happy. No, he will not be happy. He will not be happy. He will need to find some new buyers to convince, right? If that plays out the pump move over there. So I don't know. Do we cut it? Do we give it a little bit more of a chance? Because that next move, if you start to take that out, I can easily see this running all the way down to like 2,200. Easy, easy, easy. It will unwind quickly because I believe a lot of people are looking at the same horizontal levels because it's a key technical level of support. I think that was the 618 fib, the golden pocket, the golden ratio, right? In Fibonacci sequencing is always significant in the markets. Yeah, Tom Lee will need to hire security soon. Probably. Investors want their money. The investors will want their money. Absolutely. All right, let's go back into it. So we got as far as Pump. Hyperliquid had some sort of an announcement that if you look on the low time frames, immediately got faded. Look at that. Big spike up. This is confirmation you're probably going low. Big spike up, immediately sold in one of those underside resistance areas. And this can easily roll down. You got the price targets below, right? In the orange lines. 23, 19, 17. Asta continues to bleed out, very bearish. We almost at our target, which we're looking at 29 cents on Apex. So that's coming down. What else have we got? We spoke about a couple of shorts, I think, on these exchange tokens. Let's just quickly see which ones. So still holding up. You can basically enter into the short right over here. Will the exchange create shenanigans to stop you out? That I can't comment on. They could. If they see enough people with liquidity over here and stop losses placed at 377, of course, they'll probably just spike you out quickly, but then just re-enter. As soon as you trade below 337 on BitGet token, that thing's it's gonna drop hard. Crypto.com already played out the full move, so we missed that one. We got the OKX token or OKB, very similar. So we'll put those two next to each other. As soon as you start to trade below this, you're coming for those lows. Once you break below 91, I'm looking at full retrace of this entire move over here. So BGB and OKB, put those next to each other. Righty. Okay, let's scroll through. What else have we got? Yes, PIPPIN. Let's go to PIPPIN. They continue to squeeze this. Remember, this type of a trade is just a matter of time. Massive rise in price, huge drop off in volume. It's like 1,000% manipulated. It's not even a discussion. It's absolutely manipulated. And it's just a question of when it goes to zero. So remember, though, the market can remain irrational much longer than what you can remain solvent, which means you need to give yourself enough room to remain solvent if you are trying to short this. That's why I only allocated a tiny amount, $500. Remember, for my account size, $500 is nothing, right? It's absolutely nothing. I'm very humbled to be able to say that. It never used to be like that in my life, but $500 is absolutely nothing. So I will continue to hold my grid short and I'll just incrementally add. It's more about timing. If it doesn't break down by January, I'll bail out of the position. But between now and January, I'll just keep setting grids and just short this thing until it goes to zero. Okay. Remember, the funding rate can also kill you. So that's why you need to come with a number in mind that you're willing to hold, that it makes sense for you financially to hold the position. Because if a lot of other people are short and the exchange or whoever's controlling this, they have 95% of the supply, by the way, which is why they're controlling this price. If they obviously continue to push it up, you're going to keep paying funding. So you need to also calculate, like timing-wise, how long are you willing to hold this trade for? Okay. Yeah, funding is still negative, but it keeps trading up because they're manipulating the price towards the upside. But it won't last. It literally won't last. It will go to zero. It's just a matter of time. Alrighty. So For now, my position looks like this, right? Let me just click on it over here and I'll show you the grid. So for now, I'm just leaving it like that. I risk getting liquidated if it goes to 64, which I'm willing to take that liquidation. And then I'll just re-enter a new series of grids and on another $500. Okay. Alrighty. So if you do want to short this, by the way, you can, if you want to short it with a different exchange, because some of you maybe from a jurisdiction or geographical location can't get onto some of the other platforms, check out Bybit, guys. Bybit is offered in most places. They also have grids on Bybit where you can scale into the position. What I like about Bybit as well is you can scale in like this. You can actually scale in. You can set the, there's a pyramid function over there where you can do pyramid or inverse pyramid, or it's called triangle, inverse triangle. It's something like that under the tools section where you could scale into the trade like this and it will allocate smaller amounts of money on Bybit down there and then larger amounts of money up at the top, right? So that way you don't need to sit and manually calculate. You can just be like, hey, you know what? Enter short from 42 cents and scale that short up to 85 cents and put the smallest part of the positioning in. So you set the number of grids for the triangle and it'll basically pyramid you in. Just go have a look at it under the tools function. What I'll actually do is I'll attach at the end of this video, because I actually did a tutorial on how to do this. If you want to take advantage of that, we'll attach this at the end. It will pop up on the end screens for the Bybit tutorial. Go and watch that Bybit tutorial and you'll see exactly how to use that pyramid tool. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. They do also have a $30,000 sign-up bonus, by the way. And you get $50 guaranteed when you sign up over there. Okay, so let's move on. What else have we got? We are 32 minutes into this video. You guys are covered. You know what to look out for. We can do a few more requests, but those are the main trades, right? We've covered everything. Those are the main trades. Also, Christmas special, right? Christmas special for those of you that are trading on Bitfunded. They have a get 4 challenges with 50% off. So basically you buy 2 and you're going to get 2 surprise challenges for free. So that's a Christmas gift. They have a mystery box. Just read it over below over there. You're getting a 90% profit share. Remember, nothing beats Black Friday. I told you Black Friday, you get 100% profit share. So if you took advantage of that, I bought all of my funded accounts for the whole year on that Black Friday special. But this is the next best opportunity because you buy 2, get 2 free, and then 90% profit share. Let's say, for example, you take a $100,000 challenge, you pass it, you're trading with $100,000, and you trade the account from 100K to 200K. You keep all the money. You keep $100,000 profit when you withdraw. Okay. So linked in the description below over there for Bitfunded, right? And remember, guys, for tomorrow, sign up. If you haven't already, minimum deposit of $300 on BitUnix. We'll do the giveaway. I'm going to check the comment section as well to see if you want it split 4 ways, 3 ways, 2 ways, or you just want one winner. That is it from me, folks. I will see all of you guys on the next one. I hope you have a lovely day and we'll catch up tomorrow. Cheers for now.